Hi. Thank you for watching my video. Please do not forget, you can find the link to the original article in the description. Scientists may have found how migrating birds sense Earth's magnetic field. No GPS needed, just use quantum chemistry, by Fermin Coupe. Birds migrate thousands of miles without a GPS, using the Earth's magnetic field to orient themselves. It's been a long mystery how they were able to do this, but now, scientists may have found the key reason behind it. A molecule in the eye that's sensitive to magnetism and gives birds a working internal compass. Quantum birds. A group of biologists, chemists, and physicists tested a 40-years-old theory according to which a light-sensitive molecule interacts with the Earth's magnetic field via a quantum chemical process. To do this, they looked at a light-sensitive protein called cryptochrome 4, CRY4, from the retina of European robins, Orithecus rubicula. We think we may have identified the molecule that allows small migratory songbirds to detect the direction of the Earth's magnetic field, which they undoubtedly can do, and use that information to help them navigate when they migrate thousands of kilometers, Peter Hoare, researcher and co-author of the paper, told BBC News. European robins live throughout Europe, Russia and western Siberia. Some migrate south every northern hemisphere winter, for example from Scandinavia to the United Kingdom, and return in spring. Many migrating robins are faithful to both their summer and winter territories, which may be many hundreds of kilometers apart. Previous studies have shown that certain species of birds use Earth's magnetic fields when they migrate. Suspicion had fallen on the CRY4, a light-sensitive protein, and the first one identified in animals that evolved specifically to detect magnetic fields. It's part of a class of proteins known as cryptochromes, involved in the workings of circadian rhythms. Now, researchers managed to isolate the molecule from robins and showed that it is sensitive to magnetic fields. In the presence of light, electrons can jump between different parts of CRY4 and between it and another molecule called flavin adenine dinucleotide fat, ultimately leading to the production of a compound called CRY4-FADH. Changes in the level of the compound may allow light-sensitive cells in the eye to alter their output, making the view lighter or darker, depending on the direction and strength of the magnetic field in the bird's field of vision, Henrik Moritzen, co-author, told New Scientist. You may be able to see where north is kind of a shading on whatever else you would be seeing, he said. For comparison, the researchers also looked at CRY4 proteins from chickens and pigeons, which are not migratory birds, but do contain this light-sensitive protein. Each species has a slightly different version of the molecule, and the team found that these two are less affected by magnetism. This suggests that the version of the molecule in migratory birds has been fine-tuned to amplify its sensitivity. While the findings are exciting, the study hasn't demonstrated that CRY4 is being used for magnetic sensing in real life. The researchers only looked at this molecule in isolation. Nevertheless, the fact that the molecule is more magnetically sensitive in robins than in birds such as chickens that don't migrate makes them optimistic about their findings. The world's first mRNA vaccine against cancer is now being trialed. The same technology used in mRNA COVID-19 vaccines could now help us fight cancer. By Mihai Andrei. After its striking success with COVID-19, BioNTech is now looking at cancer vaccines. The company has just started a phase 2 trial of the BNT111 cancer vaccine for advanced melanoma, a vaccine that they hope will help patients fight off advanced tumors and prevent recurrences. Before it was catapulted onto the global stage by its COVID-19 vaccine, the first widely approved vaccine developed in the pandemic, BioNTech was an early-stage biotech company firmly focused on cancer vaccines. The company planned to start both a Phase 2 and a Phase 3 trial of their BNT111 vaccine in 2020, but with the pandemic coming in and BioNTech sweeping in to create not just the first COVID-19 vaccine, alongside Pfizer, but the world's first mRNA vaccine, the plans had to be delayed, although the company can't exactly be upset with the success. But after the COVID-19 detour, it's time for the company to return to its initial goal, and BioNTech seems excellently positioned to do so. Not only have they proven they can develop a quick vaccine using mRNA technology, but several mRNA vaccines targeting different types of cancers are already queued in the company's product pipeline. Now, one of them has started Phase 2 trials. The mRNA vaccine BNT111 will be tested in combination with an antibody drug, Libtayo, targeting patients with relapsed stage 3 IV melanoma. The vaccine is aimed at 4 tumor-associated antigens. Over 90% of all melanoma tumors are thought to contain at least one of these 4 antigens. The Phase 2 trials are enrolling 120 patients from Spain, Germany, Italy, Poland, the US, the UK, and Australia after regulatory review. The first patient has now been dosed. The company's management appears confident in the vaccine. Özlem Türeci, Managing Director and Chief Medical Officer of BioNTech, explained in a statement that BNT111 has already shown a favorable safety profile and encouraging preliminary results in early clinical evaluation. With the start of patient treatment in our Phase 2 trial, we are encouraged to continue on our initial path to realize the potential of mRNA vaccines for cancer patients, he added. Previously, vaccine efficacy was assessed in a subset of 42 patients treated with the shot, either without any other treatment or alongside an anti-PD-1 drug. Out of these, 25 were treated with the vaccine alone. Out of these 25, 1 patient had a complete remission, 3 had partial remissions, and 7 saw their disease stabilize. The combination group of 17 patients had 6 partial responses. The company is now looking to show that the mRNA vaccines can serve their intended purpose of fighting cancer. We were able to demonstrate the potential of mRNA vaccines in addressing COVID-19, added Özlem Türeci, co-founder and chief medical officer of BioNTech. We must not forget that cancer is also a global health threat, even worse than the current pandemic, she added. According to Türeci, preventing cancer recurrence is the ideal setting for mRNA technology, because after a tumor has been removed, or largely removed through surgery, a vaccine can help produce T cells that can outnumber and control cancerous cells. Essentially, the goal is to train these T cells to recognize cancer and keep it in check. The possibilities reach even farther, as mRNA is excellently suited for developing personalized vaccines. Because cancerous tumors can be different, BioNTech aims to be able to produce a customized vaccine within 45 days after the patient's surgery. The idea would be to carry out a biopsy and send it to a lab, and then have a computer algorithm analyze the mutations caused by cancer, looking for the ones that trigger T-cell production. But the company is also developing pre-made, off-the-shelf treatments, especially for people who can't wait 45 days. It's harder to make a cancer vaccine than one for COVID-19, though. With COVID-19, the genetic code of the virus leads you directly to the vaccine candidate, whereas with cancer, you need to sequence the tumor's genes and look for the useful ones. But the pandemic experience has helped the process, not just with experience, but with production infrastructure as well, Türeci told USA Today. I, in my wildest dreams, would never have imagined that we'd be making the quantities and quality of mRNA molecules we're making now with. If you had told me we were going to be doing this, I'd have said you were completely crazy, she said, praising the engineers. Every time I think, oh my god, we can't do any better than that, they surprise me. Whether or not the drug will be successful remains to be seen, but for now, one thing seems clear. When it comes to vaccines, mRNA is just getting started.